Chairman Barrett, Ranking Member Budzinski, and members of the subcommittee, thank you for inviting us to testify today on VA's software license management. As requested, I'll briefly summarize our prior work on the department's efforts to track software license usage and manage restrictive licensing practices. As you know, the use of IT is crucial to helping VA effectively serve our nation's veterans, and the investment in IT is substantial. In fiscal year 2025, VA plans to spend roughly $985 million on software, including commercial software licenses. And I appreciate the subcommittee's attention on this topic because software licenses has been problematic across the federal government for a long time, and especially at VA. And with more effective management, the potential for cost savings could be huge. This afternoon, I'll highlight 2 key points. The first is that VA lacks the ability to know if it's purchasing too many or too few licenses. Last January, we reported that VA did not track software licenses currently in use, nor did it regularly compare the inventories of those licenses to purchase records. These are key activities needed to effectively manage software licenses. And while the department was able to report to us its 5 most widely used software vendors at that time, officials could not demonstrate that they were tracking the appropriate number of licenses for each item of software currently in use. In contrast, vendors perform these activities all the time to ensure that customers are adhering to contract terms and can apply true-up penalties when customer use exceeds those stated terms. Without data of its own, VA cannot verify whether the vendor's information is accurate. Moreover, VA will continue to miss opportunities to reduce costs on duplicate or unnecessary licenses. As such, we made 2 recommendations to VA to fully address these key management activities. In response to our recommendations, VA has told us it has implemented new procedures for its most widely used software licenses and will implement a centralized approach to ensure software is tracked throughout the entire life cycle. The department fully expects to address our recommendations by the end of the year. We will continue to monitor VA's actions to do so. My second point relates to work we did this past November on restrictive software licensing practices, which adversely impacts agencies' cloud computing efforts, including those at VA. According to VA officials, some of the restrictive practices that they have encountered, including a vendor requiring the agency to pay additional fees to use the vendor's software on infrastructure from third-party clouds, making the agency repurchase the existing software licenses being used on its on-premise systems for use in the cloud, and also requiring or promoting vendor lock-in, such as by not allowing another vendor's software to be used with its own hardware. VA officials reported that the restrictive licensing practices generally impacted the cost of cloud computing and the choice of cloud service provider. However, the department had not established guidance for effectively managing the impacts from these restrictive licensing practices. Further, VA had not assigned responsibility for managing such practices. Accordingly, we made 2 recommendations to VA to address these gaps. VA has concurred and stated it will provide actions it plans to take to address both of these recommendations. So moving forward in the 2 areas I noted, it will be critical for VA to fully implement our recommendations as soon as possible. Doing so will present VA with opportunities to reduce costs on duplicate or unnecessary licenses and also take action to mitigate the impact of restrictive licensing practices. And as I mentioned earlier, the cost savings potential is tremendous. The department had previously reported it had saved about $65 million over 3 years due to analyzing just one of its software licenses. So you can imagine the possibilities when you apply that across the entire inventory of licenses. That concludes my statement, and I look forward to addressing your questions.